just watched the Minecraft movie.
I liked it! Hell, I loved it!
Rick, yes, great cleanup after I'm done jockeying my chicken. You guys aren't gonna be mad at me for spoiling the Minecraft movie, are you? Because I'm gonna do that. It's how I went into the movie, and honestly, if you want the best theater experience you can get, already spoiled is how you should be consuming this thing. Hi again, fellas, and to most, the Minecraft movie looked like abysmal dog poo upon first impression. When the teaser trailer dropped, it was like Sonic's original movie design on steroids. Everything was cubes, you know, like in the game Minecraft, but they were all hyper-realistic. Whoever was in charge of art design clearly did grow up playing Minecraft and loving the game, but you know they were spoiled and had a nice computer because they had definitely used the 4K resolution texture packs, as well as Ultra HD shaders that make Minecraft turn into Dark Souls. Lines from that first trailer were just getting memed to hell and back. People were picking apart every little detail, like even Jack Black's blue Steve t-shirt, which should have been easy as hell to adapt, just get a blue t-shirt, but instead they had to make it more complicated and give it DC New 52 glowing lines all over it for texture reasons, I guess. Early critic reviews weren't positive either, where it got a big gooey splash on Rotten Tomatoes. That means the critics think it's AIDS. So all this together, it must have spelled doom and gloom for the movie on arrival, right? Of course not. A Minecraft movie shatters box office expectations with record-breaking $163 million opening weekend. It doubled its initial US estimate of $80 million, and internationally, the movie crossed $300 million at the box office. And it was rated 87% fresh by the actual people, the real audience who went out to see Minecraft. It's a bona fide hit. Movie reviewers everywhere are once again out of touch with the real fans who carried this film to victory. I don't really necessarily disagree with the sentiment that reviewers and the general audience aren't always on the same page, but the way I see it, they're doing that because both groups are rating a film by very different metrics. If you're a movie reviewer who presumably enjoys watching movies for a movie's sake, you probably have seen a bunch of movies. If so, you probably go into a movie primarily to see what it has to offer, like as a movie. Minecraft is not going to give you a bunch in the way of that category. So after leaving, you think to yourself, would I recommend someone who has the same perspective as me, who's going into a film looking for the same things as I am, to spend their money on this movie? Of course not, and I think that's a perfectly reasonable conclusion and line of logic to follow. The general audience can be any number of different types of people, so yeah, they're probably going to disagree with critics on some aspects because they went in with a different perspective of the whole thing. A parent in a family of four is not reading the write-up you did on Roger Ebert to learn exactly why somebody wasn't fond of the Minecraft movie. This isn't like a meritocracy to them. They're not going to show their kids what has been qualified as the best new movie this week. For general audiences, it's more about seeing a movie being a thing you can go do in a general sense versus seeing the movie for the sake of seeing a movie. And that's kind of where I'm at. I think the film itself is very mediocre and I kind of love it, pretty much the same as Five Nights at Freddy's. I can safely recommend you get a group of your friends and watch this in theaters. It's luck of the draw if you'll get this, for sure, but my theater experience is what made this movie special to me. I shit you I've had of anything since the midnight premiere of Avengers Endgame. Here it comes. Here it comes. Am I ready? Getting jockey! Yeah! Genuinely, my theater did this meme. We know the chicken jockey is epic, but please don't throw popcorn or soft drinks at the screen. Chickens don't like showers. Showers? Our staff don't either. Pretty early on in the movie, I realized that a sizable portion of my theater was doing a bit. Every time you heard a line about to come up that has already blown up and gotten repeated on Twitter, Flint and Steel, I am Steve, I'm sure you can think of a third one. A group of people in like the same part of the theater every time would always be leading a chant harmonizing to it. I and half the theater naturally joined in every time, but I shit you not. There was a guy who had sat through the first hour of the film, waited for the chicken jockey bit, then threw his jumbo-sized popcorn bucket in the air and sent the kernels flying everywhere. That dude got up halfway through the movie just to do that, then he left the theater and didn't come back. Spent his hard-earned money just to do that shit. Now, I refuse to believe that every single one of those people had seen the movie before, memorized the funny lines and where they're at in the movie, then saw it again in theaters just to say those same lines out loud. They definitely heard them on Twitter first. And when a movie comes out in theaters and the most memorable moments are becoming memes for the first time, people resort to using shit quality cam rips of those moments until the movie actually comes out on digital. It's no exception here. It's just really funny that the leaked version of the Minecraft movie being used was not recorded in like a public theater. It had to have been pulled from something internal, because the cam rip of the Minecraft movie going around right now has completely unfinished CGI from moment zero to the very end. Honing in on those quotes from the movie that kind of morphed into copy pastas, they're littered throughout throughout the entire film, but for whatever reason, chicken jockey is the ad-lib that's broken through the noise. You have people crediting that line with single-handedly undoing all the bad press that the Minecraft movie has been getting. Name Soundalikes was on the ball with this one, and they may be the longest-running gimmick account I've ever gotten to witness without it being sold to someone who grifts. There's genuinely good stuff in there too, just bits of writing I got a genuine laugh out of. I really liked at the end when the main evil piglin, Malgosha, failed to stab Jack Black Steve with a hidden knife 3 times in a row. Also, her name being Malgosha scared the shit out of me because I've only ever heard something that sounds like that name in the first episode of Sword Art Online Abridged from when I was 13. Like, it literally came out the day I turned 13. Another thing was when they kicked the shit out of the baby zombie in the boxing ring and it started crying. All I could think about was in Tropic Thunder when Ben Stiller kills an Asian toddler that's stabbing him in the neck a bunch. Hearing orchestral versions of the C418 ambient Minecraft soundtrack was simultaneously dope on the theater speakers, but it also reeked of blasphemy. It was weirdly like defiling nature. Like when Smash Bros. Added Steve, they got it right when they said the Minecraft soundtrack just doesn't work for a fighting game. We're just gonna make our own, it's simpler that way. This next bit, I can only imagine a lot of it was intentional, but there's so much of this kind of absurd, awkward pause humor where the dialogue will just stop for a little longer than maybe it should after some weird shit just got said. Those were hit and miss, but when they hit, I appreciated it. Now, however you feel about Jason Momoa being cast in this movie at all, I gotta give it to him and Jack Black. Their back and forth dynamic and the doomed old man yaoi ship that was bound to get popular because of it was one of the most consistently enjoyable parts of the movie for me. The best recurring bit was exactly what you think it is. It was Jennifer Coolidge hitting a villager with her car, asking him out to dinner, and then starting to date him right after. I wish a lot of this hadn't been spoiled for me, at least in the trailers, because it would have hit that much harder. During that, I leaned over to a friend I was watching the movie with to say, I hope this keeps coming back and they just never tie it into the main story. That was exactly what they did. By the end of the movie, the villager has learned English, Jennifer Coolidge has learned to speak villager, and within one day of meeting each other in universe, they propose and get engaged. I got a genuine, hearty laugh out of that one. You see, throughout the movie, which is only an hour and 40 minutes by the way, the whole crew got really buddy-buddy really fast. The kid, Henry, meets Jason Momoa literally the same day they go to Minecraft, and by the end, they're calling each other family. I just leaned over to my friend again and said they've known each other for 3 hours tops. So in a universe where night and day canonically cycle every 20 minutes and the passage of time doesn't really matter, to have the dumb in-universe pacing acknowledged as silly, it worked on me. This part might just be me, but I did like the sibling dynamic that Henry and Natalie had. Their mom died, and now Natalie's stepping up, trying to be her little brother's legal guardian. She's just trying to give him the best life she can. Not gonna lie, the movie frames certain dilemmas that she gets into as if she's in the wrong when she was totally right. Justice for Natalie. Fucked up, man. One thing I gotta give some unironic, no-strings-attached credit for is that I genuinely do believe that the people working on this film did so out of a place of love and reverence for Minecraft. I'm sure that studio mandates and the evil fingers of Microsoft probably had a major effect on how this movie turned out, and still, there were things I can just unambiguously point to and say, no way they added that, or just, that's fucking sick. The biggest for me probably had to be the explicit Technoblade tribute in the movie, with a pig with a glorious crown walks by our protagonist and Jack Black calls him a legend. One of the directors, Jared Hess, revealed that it was actually the actor who plays the main kid Henry in the movie, Sebastian Hansen, who brought up the idea of including a Technoblade tribute. I was genuinely happy to see that get an applause from the theater I was in. It might have had me tearing up a little. And after watching the full Collider interview that story came from, it gave me a lot of appreciation for these directors as some of the few who actually play the game that they are directing a movie about. Jared Hess said he played it with his kids and he understood some of the zany stuff that could happen from that and just the creative potential. They brought up the truth of the film, that the protagonists suck at Minecraft because they've never played before, an experience we've all shared with friends on both sides of the equation, and how it can be super frustrating watching them play when they completely gloss over loot that could make their lives so much easier. Like them putting a totem of undying in the background in the film and none of the protagonists using it, just never addressing that there was an instant revive next to them the whole time. Now, as much as I enjoyed the Minecraft movie for what it is and the moment in culture it's created, I'm gonna try and tie this all together with some kind of overarching point that I want to use as a takeaway. That being the modern theater-going experience. In the post-pandemic era, where a connected film universe is a pipe dream even for the guys at Marvel who pioneered it, the number of things that can get people out of their gamer chairs and living room couches to go outside and see a movie with friends is getting smaller and smaller, and it's almost always these over-budget blockbusters that are entries into an existing franchise. The last wholly original film film to make $1 billion was Zootopia in 2016. Everything else since then has been an adaptation of something that already existed, a sequel or a remake, something in that bucket. Hell, even Zootopia is getting a sequel now as it transitions into the dreaded multimedia franchise. The closest we've gotten since then was Oppenheimer scratching just shy of $1 billion, so it technically doesn't count, and that still had the benefit of Christopher Nolan directing, a stacked cast, the one-of-a-kind synergy of Barbenheimer, and being a historical drama about one of the most important events in human history. The Taylor Swift Virtual Eras Tour was the thing putting up some of the biggest numbers theaters had seen in a minute. There has not been a film that comes along and is the next Lion King that isn't literally just the next Lion King. And since Endgame, the MCU has pretty much only pulled this kind of thing off by digging into their nostalgia bag, bringing back every Spider-Man in one movie, puppeting around the corpse of every 2000s Marvel superhero movie and Deadpool and Wolverine, and now casting RDJ as Doctor Doom. And even that strategy has diminishing returns. It doesn't work every time. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness failed to replicate the success that cameos had contributed to making in the past. And so, the last big well of gigantic intellectual property to adapt into movies was in gaming. These adaptations are an era I'd say began around when Detective Pikachu first came out, and arguably was in full force when the first Sonic movie got released. I view the Sonic movie and its sequels as markers of the trajectory that game adaptations have taken, as it's the only one out with sequels right now. When that first trailer dropped, we all saw it. Sonic was ugly as shit. He looked nothing like the Hedgehog we knew. On top of that, the first Sonic film is relatively small in scope. It takes place mainly in one small town. Sonic and Eggman are the only major legacy franchise characters that show up at all, and we don't even see Super Sonic. It's more concerned with being an approachable, accessible movie than being a Sonic movie. Thankfully, it did well, and it got a sequel. Sonic 2 comes along, and all bets are off. The IP has already proven it can make money at the box office, so it can be a little bit more open, less ashamed about where it comes from. Sonic 2, and especially Sonic 3, became draws as a spectacle for Sonic fans to see what they would do with the source material in the film, but also as kids' films with genuinely good emotional cores, with a new generation of kids being able to experience versions of these stories that I grew up on decades ago. Hell, some of these kids are falling in love with Jim Carrey's performance as Eggman the same way we did with his iconic roles as kids. Every Sonic movie has been making more than the last. It's really a success story. And it wasn't just Sonic. We found a method to put asses in seats. So what are we gonna do with it? Repeat the formula, of course. Mario movie does $1 billion and has people talking about it everywhere. The Five Nights at Freddy's movie does something similar. It's one of the highest grossing horror films of all time. It's a film very indulgent to the community it owes a lot to, with tons of things included in it that get me to point and say, I know that thing! A Mario movie and a FNAF movie to me feel like they were built to be spectacle. Cultural moments that get people talking because of something big happening in an already existing, beloved IP. And in my view, they were more concerned with being these spectacles than being good films. There is more emphasis put on adaptation than movie, as in movie adaptation. I'm not saying that Sonic 3 or No Way Home in comparison are like creatively inspired high art, but the writing was leagues better in both of those movies than it was in Minecraft. That thing is barely being held together with gum, spit, and drying blood. I'm sorry, but there's not a new generation of kids being introduced to Minecraft for the first time by watching the movie. All of them went into that theater already knowing, and you didn't leave your FNAF screening with new Freddy Fazbear autism in tow. You already had that shit when you walked into the theater. And that's my point. We may be stuck in an existing IP, sequel, remake, movie hell, but even then, there are levels to this shit. In hindsight, Spider-Man No Way Home's first half has gotten torn to shreds over being really contrived to get to the part of the movie that everybody was excited for, but at least when it got to that point, the back half was a pretty solid Spider-Man story that used the nostalgic elements they were bringing in as part of Tom Holland's Spider-Man character arc. Sonic 3 told the tale of Shadow the Hedgehog in a way not one-to-one with the games, but that absolutely captured the spirit of the thing. And I get it. You could say that Minecraft is a sandbox game that doesn't have the same framework to go off of, other than the gameplay mechanics themselves, which they do adapt very literally, so they were gonna have to take their own creative liberties at some point. And that's a fair point, but I think it actually supports what I'm saying. I think the success of the Minecraft movie, despite how horrendously unappealing it looked from the start, kind of proves that it could have done well no matter what movie they ended up making. It's Minecraft. Animation has already proved it can do big numbers in recent years, especially with video game adaptations. And hey, Minecraft is only the most popular video game ever made with its own really iconic visual aesthetic. It just feels like ripe pickings for that. Maybe even with a style inspired by official Minecraft animations in the past. Nah, that's stupid. Green screen during the whole thing. It really is that one meme. Oh, Minecraft movie, you're no Minecraft story mode. I've seen people I know, friends even, say things like, it's crazy how the Minecraft movie is everything film Twitter hates, but it's what got the youth to the theaters. And I do agree, and that's because it was always gonna do that. What's being described here is the gist of what your snobby film friend has described as, and been right about, everything wrong with the film industry today. The only projects getting greenlit are in established franchises and given absurdly high budgets, so companies are making fewer films that need to be bigger and bigger hits in order to make a profit. And with all their money tied up in these high-budget productions, there's little space left for experimentation to take place. If you see an original IP get made today, it's usually because the director themselves has a very high reputation, them being established that lets them make whatever they want. Still, maybe you can argue that the shit show marketing lead up to all this was what caused so much of the movie's success. People really wanted to watch a train crash, and maybe it wouldn't be nearly as enticing for some people to watch if it wasn't a cringe exhibit, which is a fair point as well. I think already popular things can sell tickets on their own, and I think it's fair to ask those movies to still be like something good. Like a Minecraft movie is about endless possibilities. Like what if the Minecraft movie was the next Spider-Verse, huh? Still, I can just as easily see a world where a Minecraft movie was never gonna get made in the first place if it wasn't something like what we got. And hell, maybe the success of this movie will give Warner Bros. Confidence in Minecraft as a property, and they'll greenlight that animated movie I want so badly. It would be like a more extreme version of the Sonic movies getting to be more and more closer to the source material with each sequel. And even then, with the enjoyment I got out of the film, I would not change anything about it in this specific instance. The Minecraft movie specifically can stay as it is. Just in the future, it'd be cool to have, like, I don't know, a Scorsese Devil May Cry game. I'm gonna wrap this video up here. If you enjoyed, be sure to drop a like and subscribe with notifications on so you never miss an upload. Anyways, this has been Kwite, and I'll see y'all next time.